Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 23 with me, Dan, and the Razor Slothz team. We're getting straight underway. We've given some weight training to Jack Doohan and jump over to this aerodynamics event as well, just to increase the morale of the department. We've got a couple of upgrades not completing, apparently, which is a little bit unfortunate because as we come over to R&D, we don't have enough resource points to buy the upgrades again, which is a bit of a shame. So we're going to have to try and squeeze those in before the Dutch Grand Prix, if we can, assuming we can even get the points. And it's looking like we've got 3 days until we actually head to the weekend. So we're going to pick up that front wing upgrade again and move on. We've got a side pod profile upgrade coming here. That's good. That's with drag reduction, which we started a few races ago. And it's over to practice. I've not done the Dutch Grand Prix, I don't think, at all on F1 22, so it's going to be the first time at this circuit since F1 2021. In fact, I remember only doing it a couple of times on 2021 as well, because it was just a little bit of a slidey circuit. But definitely got a better feel for the circuits, having done it more recently now, compared to in the past. So we're going to continue with these upgrades here, looking to try and get that 75-point upgrade as well. It looks like we're not going to have time to get it though, so we'll get up some reliability discounts and complete our practice. Over to aero, we're going to pick up the rear aero upgrade again and have a look at the performance graph. I'm going to put these in a bit more often, I think, just to give you an idea of how close things are getting. AlphaTauri, since the Hungaroring, have massively improved, but are still quite a way off. And you can see the fight at the top. We've got the top 6, 7, maybe even 8 different teams there, all kind of mixing together. At the moment, Mercedes are the clear winners, and that's understandable with Lewis Hamilton winning the Drivers' Championship at the moment. But surprisingly, Aston Martin in second and Red Bull falling down to 4th best. We'll see if Max Verstappen can score some points here again. Well, again here today, can actually score points since it's been a little while since he scored any. So down to the Grand Prix then, back here for the first time since 2021, as I mentioned earlier on, and Max Verstappen's home Grand Prix. Now, he will be trying to score some points here. He's not scored points since round 7, which was in Austria. I could be wrong about that, but it's definitely Austria when he last scored points. So anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell as well. You can see how bad Max Verstappen is doing this season, and stick around to see if he's actually going to score any more points before we get to the end of Season 2. So on to the starting grid then, and championship leader Lewis Hamilton will lead the grid away from pole position. He's joined on the front row by the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, who's had another great qualifying. Behind them, we've got Charles Leclerc and George Russell, Alex Albon and Jack Doohan, Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez and Radiant Slothz, Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly and Zhou Guanyu, Oscar Piastri and Yuki Tsunoda, then Théo Pourchaire, Nico Hülkenberg, Kevin Magnussen, Valtteri Bottas, and finally it's Nick De Vries and Logan Sargent. And yeah, 8th place for Verstappen here at his home Grand Prix. Not the best for him. He is slightly ahead of us, but we'll see if we can get past him in the first few corners if possible, and try and force him out of the top 10. Not that we've got any resentment against him, but since he did beat us to the championship last year, we've got to try and beat him this time. Right then, we prepare to get underway here in the Netherlands with 5 red lights, and away we go here. Trying to move up the field as quickly as possible here as we get underway. Lance Stroll trying to have a look around the outside of us as we go down the inside of Sergio Perez through turn 1. We've got Lando Norris just ahead as well. Perez managing to hold us off for now, but he's on the hard tyre, and that Red Bull is not the fastest, as we can see from the performance graph earlier on. We're going to get the switch back here after turn 3, and we're alongside him, Doohan ahead, also fighting alongside Lando Norris. And it looks like with a bit of contact, he's managed to get past. So great job to Jack Doohan for holding on to, a points position. He may actually score again, if we're lucky. As we come round on to what will be the first of the DRS straights. The only other DRS straight besides the pit lane. We'll see what happened to Doohan, because he did lose some places. There's Verstappen going past. Presumably Norris, yes, is on the outside, but in fairness to him, he's on the hard tyre, and it still doesn't have the greatest of skills compared to the rest of the field, so can't be expected to win every fight. But we're going to be trying to make use of these mediums before the hard tyre outdoes us, outperforms us over a greater distance. We are on lap 4 though, so we are digging into that time quite a lot as we now get the DRS to go around the outside of Lando Norris. We are ahead into turn 1 and tucking behind our teammate. We've had to wait for a little while just to try and get a feel for the circuit in race conditions with the fuel load, and try and get some DRS as well. There's a yellow flag on circuit. We've got a Williams, I think, pulled off to the side of the circuit. We'll see which of the two that is in a moment if we go past it. And in the meantime, we'll continue to chase down our teammate. There is Teo Pourchaire on the side of the circuit. So, again, the rookie who's going through his first full season at the Williams team and not having the best of luck once again. And we're lining up a move now on doing a little slidey still as we come through the final few corners and now onto the banked turn. DRS open. This is going to be the hardest overtake of them all because Doohan has an equivalent car. If he turns on that ERS, he will be doing the same speed. But we're going to go to the outside here and see if we can get around. Yes, we do. And up into P7. Little battle going on ahead as well. That's Albon and Leclerc. Leclerc taking away P4. And it looks like Sainz, Russell and Hamilton breaking away from the rest of the pack up in the front. So Leclerc could be vulnerable here. Let's see if we can get past Verstappen on the way down this DRS straight. We're 7 laps into the Grand Prix, so we're going to be thinking about tyre changes in the not too distant future. But we don't want to go too far ahead of Doohan as we dive down the inside of Max Verstappen at the last second there. Completely unaware that I was going to make that move until I was about to run into the back of the Red Bull and just decided to go around him. And also, look at this, Jack Doohan. Very close to the back of Verstappen. Verstappen still gets the DRS, but Jack Doohan now to the inside on the run down towards turn 1. Norris will be waiting for an opportunity as well. Doohan ahead at turn 1, but Verstappen coming back at him as they approach turn 2 and 3. Verstappen now round the outside of Doohan, retaking P7, but Doohan hanging on there around the outside, and he speeds away and gets in front of the Red Bull driver in his home Grand Prix. That demotes Max Verstappen back to where he started at the beginning of this race. And as we look on lap 9, he's actually been overtaken by Norris as well. So Verstappen having an absolutely torrid time as we're chasing down Leclerc. We've got a move for the lead going on there between Hamilton and Russell. But our fight is with this set of 3 cars led by Charles Leclerc. Albon trying to go around the outside of Leclerc here into turn 2. He'll have the inside line for turn 3. We get right up the ass of the Ferrari switchback there as Charles Leclerc was offline and into P5. Albon does get away and try and keep up with him as best we can. And actually, looking down at the minimap, Verstappen holding up quite a line of drivers as we come in now to the pit lane. Norris in as well in the background. Doohan remaining out, which is to be expected at this point. Possibly an unsafe release there from Lewis Hamilton, but it's been allowed. And into the box we go. Amazingly, actually starting to pull away before we've even put the tyres on there. But we're coming out in P18. We're still behind Albon, but he does have Nick De Vries and Logan Sargent ahead of him, which we've seen in the past isn't the best. He's likely going to be held up, especially when he catches up, which he is now, actually. He's right up behind Nick De Vries. And you can see we ran off onto the grass, so that's allowed Charles Leclerc to close back up now as we engage with this red versus green. The only one missing is Lando Norris to complete the traffic light set. He's not too far behind. There goes Albon up the inside of De Vries, who in this universe has actually managed to go to his home Grand Prix before Helmut Marko has fired him. Well, just imagine in this circumstance that Daniel Ricciardo did break his arm, or whatever it was that he did to it again. Anyways, we come down the pit straight. Leclerc goes up the inside and unsurprisingly gets past us, since he does have the tyre advantage. And up ahead, De Vries stays out on the soft, so we're going to have to sit behind the AlphaTauri and try and find a way by. But so is Leclerc, which is also important. Doohan is, well, just the 4 seconds behind us. You can see he's got quite a bit of a gap there to an Aston Martin, who's then followed by both Red Bulls. So both Red Bulls not having the best of time now, but they are in the 4th fastest car. I'm not entirely sure how that's happened, but we'll take it. So as we come onto the DRS straight, will Leclerc go for a move on De Vries? He's going to go to the left-hand side here. On the brakes they go. Leclerc seems to have gotten through, and we're going to sneak one up the inside as well and try and get past Charles Leclerc up into P8 now on the pit straight, running slightly wide there. This is going to be a bit of an ambitious attempt. We are gaining, though. The Ferrari at a disadvantage here. Accidental downshift as we break into turn 1 and we go up the inside of Charles Leclerc. We're back into P5 as everyone else has come into the pit lane. And we've got to be conscious of the fact that Jack Doohan is a little way behind, so we'll start slowing up the field in just a moment, or I should say just slowing up Leclerc and Norris. Leclerc, though, looking for a way past as he gets up the inside here into the DRS zone. And unfortunately for him, he is allowed us to take DRS as we go over the detection line just there. And we should open the flap right now, but we're much closer than we were on our previous overtake, so we're just going to easily get by. In fact, we've just crossed onto the next lap, and we're already ahead of the Ferrari into turn 1. Doohan still a little bit of a way off. I think he's getting closer, though, so he'll be within DRS range very shortly. In fact, it looks as though he is now. Yes, he is. Leclerc going for another move. Can we defend it into turn 1? No, we can't. We're slotting behind him. Not enough room for Norris to try and send one up the inside, unfortunately for him. Looking at the rest of the field, we've got a Red Bull, I think, a fighter Piastri through turn 1 right now. I think that's Verstappen, who's dropped out of the points. Here we go on the TV broadcast. Verstappen is in P13 as Jack Doohan goes around the outside of Lando Norris. They're going to hold these. Well, he's going to hold the inside line now. And it's a drag race down to the DRS detection line. Around the outside he goes. He's going to hang on here against Norris. Yes, he does. But doesn't have DRS. The little battle has cost them both a little bit of time. And Norris is going past. We had a little attempt there at getting past Charles Leclerc, but we've just stayed behind him for the time being. Still a long way to go to be DRS leapfrogging around all over the place. Ideally, we're going to take him on one of the final laps, or at least get past and hope his tyres fall off a cliff. But this is going to be our another attempt here to try and hold position ahead of Leclerc. We're going to go to the right hand side. He defends it back to the left hand side, and Leclerc has defended it very slow through the corner, unfortunately, so we had to slow ourselves down too. But Leclerc hold on to P5. Lap 19, that's Norris and Doohan fighting away in the background. I think they were side by side then. And Hamilton and Russell changing positions up in front as well. Albon, you could just see at the end of the straight there as it cut away. But we're going around the outside of Leclerc. Again, are we going to hold on this time? Yes, we do, actually. We're still alongside him into turn 2. Round the outside and hard on the brakes here into that very tight inside line that we're taking through turn 3. And away we go. But you can see Leclerc is not satisfied. He's going to try and keep with us as we ride on board now. Through the sand dunes, the gravel making it look like we're at the beach. Very extensive gravel tracks here in Zandvoort as we circle round towards the DRS zone. No mistakes this time so far. And on the power, Ferrari looking feisty. Looking to the inside here as we go onto the brakes again. Leclerc up the inside. There is his front wing. But we have a chance here. If we just ease off slightly, the Ferrari gets ahead of us at the detection line, which means we will have the DRS again. And a momentary issue there with the upshifts. The pedals, the flaps on my gear shifters keep running loose every time I do a race, which is very annoying. Jack Doohan tries to look around the outside as well. Unfortunately, it's not time for him just yet. Don't actually remember off the top of my head what his best finishing position was, so I think 7th might be his best if he stays there. We've got one more lap to go. One Red Bull still in the points. That's Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen in 16th. And although I didn't put it in this video, there is a moment during this Grand Prix where both Bottas and Zhou Guanyu overtake the Red Bulls, one on each side down the pit straight. Verstappen had nothing to fight back with, and clearly on subsequent laps was not able to keep up with the Alfa Romeos. In fact, he's actually fighting with Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda's ahead now. Now Verstappen, I think it's going to be a close call between the two of them before the end of the Grand Prix, but our attention is on Leclerc. Can we hold him up and allow Doohan past? I don't think so. It might be a little risky. So it's going to be a case of deploying the battery in its entirety down the DRS straight, down towards this little bowl section, I guess. That's Stroll holding on to P9 as well from a Red Bull. I suppose Aston Martin are in the second best car at the moment. That's hardly a surprise that he's in that position. Neither is Albon, coming 4th as we come down towards the finish line. No threat from the Ferrari as we cross the line. He crashes into us in frustration. And I think we actually wiped out one of the boards there for the corner braking zone. And we get driver of the day as well. Lovely stuff here in the Netherlands. And Lewis Hamilton picking up another win in the Mercedes. That man is well on the way to his 8th world title. Revenge for the past 2 seasons, having lost to Max Verstappen several times. In fact, a very mediocre season for Mercedes in Season 1. Not doing absolutely fantastic. But unfortunately, Ferrari, yet again, not able to convert their good start, their good qualifying into a win. I'm not even sure where Charles Leclerc was in the end. Oh yeah, he was behind us. Not great. And here we are with the race results. Lewis Hamilton, George Russell and Carlos Sainz pick up the podium positions, with Russell picking up fastest lap as well. Behind them we have Alex Albon, Reddit, Slothz, Charles Leclerc, Jack Doohan, Lando Norris, Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez. Over in the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell are now level on points at the top of the Drivers' standings. Behind them by just 11 points is Sergio Perez in 3rd. Then it's a job back to Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in 4th and 5th, and Radiant Slothz in 6th. Below 100 points, we have Alex Albon, Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, and Lando Norris. Further down the order, we have Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Jack Doohan, Kevin Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Nico Hulkenberg, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, and Zhou Guanyu picking up the final points, followed by Logan Sargent, Théo Pourchaire, and Nick de Vries on 0. And finally, over to the constructors. Mercedes is still winning this one by quite a convincing margin at this point. They're followed by Ferrari in second and Red Bull in third. Then it's a jump back to Razor Slothz in fourth, who are narrowly ahead of Aston Martin. Then Alpine in a solid sixth, followed by McLaren, Haas, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri, and a pointless Williams.